Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to talk a little bit about Gamera Rebirth. I know a lot of you were hitting me up on social media earlier in the week regarding the document that was released and showing that our lovely director is none other than the very same director that did the Godzilla Animated Trilogy, and everybody's up in arms and worried and concerned. And as you know, if you've seen my Twitter posts and everything as to why I'm doing videos much later in the week than normal, but definitely a couple of topics that I want to get to before the end of the week, this being one of them. So director Hiroyuki Sashida will be helming the 6th episode Gamera Rebirth, and I know a lot of people were not too happy to hear about this. Understandable. I'm in the same boat as a lot of people. I was not a fan of the Godzilla Animated Trilogy. I thought it was I thought it started off strong. I very much liked the first part, the first movie. The second one was a huge letdown and false advertisement, and we can, I know there are fans, we can debate it back and forth, but it's false advertisement nonetheless. Sorry, it just is. It was very, very very bad. And when you do something like that, the people who might have been looking for, because I think a lot of people like that first Godzilla animated movie, and once we saw Mechagodzilla was coming into the fold in the second movie, a lot of people were pretty much excited. And it turned out that not only was did we not get to see Mechagodzilla turned out to be a city, and yeah, basically turned out to be Trypticon without transforming into the monster aspect. So, because of leaving that bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, a lot of people are very concerned that he's going to ruin the Gamera movie. Look, you always know I wait until I finally see the project before I make my final judgment. However, I'm not as concerned as some of you are, because I think there's a fail-safe to this series. Number one, it's only 6 episodes. Number two, it seems like it's going to be very heavily focused on monsters fighting each other, because there are 5 monsters that Gamera's going to fight, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be 1 monster per episode, or introducing 1 monster in each episode, and then the 6th episode might be a huge showdown between Gamera and the other 5. I don't know, but I don't think there's going to be enough room for him to ruin this with story beats and waiting till the last minute to show a monster, only for it to end up being very underwhelming. So I'm not too concerned, and you hope. One of the things we've learned here in America is that no matter how much you cry out as a fan, directors and creators seem to double down on the garbage that you didn't like the first time. And I think that's something we've kind of gotten used to over the past 5 years. So what I will say is my hope is that this is not something that necessarily is infectious beyond here in the States. There were a lot of people who voiced their opinion on the animated trilogy for Godzilla. A lot of people voiced their displeasures, and all you can hope is that the director learns from past mistakes and actually gives fans what they want. And again, that's not to say that there were certain elements about the Godzilla animated trilogy that either A, weren't good, or B, you could see the potential, but the execution was poor. We take the third movie, for example. I'm not overall a fan of how they portrayed Ghidorah. Primarily the design was my biggest problem. I think I would have liked a little bit more of a combination of what they were trying to do with combining that with what the traditional Ghidorah is all about. I mean, design wise, it was complete trash in my opinion. I'm sorry to say, I just thought it was horrible. But the concept I thought was pretty good. But they kind of made him like this galactic god, and he's like beyond physicality, and I like that. But I think combining that with him actually being present and like in the physical, you know what I mean? I think that would have been great. And then of course change the physical design, because it was just not good. It was not good. Spaghetti man in the sky, basically. But and then of course a lot of people complaint with the animated trilogy is the fact that you hardly got to see Godzilla in any of the movies. A lot of them, he came out at the very end for like 2 minutes. And the problem there with me, see, there have been a lot of Godzilla movies where he shows up towards the end of the movie or you hardly see him. And those movies, what makes it worth the wait is the lead up to that. The problem with the animated trilogy is that the first one was good, but then everything else, the lead up was very disappointing, like Mechagodzilla City and all that stuff. So it makes when he shows up just underwhelming. Like, you know, you're thinking for a while there that he might fight Mechagodzilla, and at the end he's just fighting a city, which is something that we know that Godzilla does by default anyway. There's nothing really special there. It's always special when he fights Mechagodzilla because, you know, it's an arch rival. There's a lot of history there, and this was what we thought was a new iteration. Well, it was a new iteration, just not one we liked. In terms of Gamera, I don't really see where he has the room to make these same mistakes. He doesn't have, depending on how long these episodes are, assuming that they're about a half hour each, I don't see where he's gonna have the room to make those kinds of mistakes. You know, I don't think he's gonna have the room to write himself into exposition dumps, because that's some of the other problem with the Godzilla animated trilogy. You know, you hear that a lot when people criticize movies about exposition. There's nothing wrong with exposition. Exposition is necessary in a lot of storytelling. It's just the amount that you rely on it, you know, because a lot of times you want to show the story you're trying to tell as opposed to telling it. You understand what I mean? But yeah, exposition is necessary in many different ways. It's just when you rely on it too much, it makes things excessive, especially if it's not very interesting particularly. Then it makes it even worse. It makes it feel like a slog. Depending on the length of the episodes, he may not have a whole lot of time to do that. And even if the episodes are for an hour, you know that a portion of it is going to be dedicated to Gamera fighting another monster. At least that's what I hope. So I'm not too concerned about this. You know, you got to hope that he learns from his mistakes. If he sees it that way, we're not sure if he does. Again, seems like a lot of directors and writers these days are not very humble, and they're not very dedicated to pleasing their audience. They want to do what they want to do and screw whoever doesn't like it, and they're gonna kind of stay that way. I'm hoping this is not something that kind of spreads beyond the United States. That seems to be a very common thing amongst these recent creators who, no matter how much you criticize them, no matter how much you show your displeasure, no matter how much money they lose, and no matter how much bad reviews their shows or movies get, they continually decide to just do the same thing over and over. So we'll see. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I don't think it's going to be, especially now. I mean, you always have to give benefit of the doubt. And he may be the director, but there's a lot of other people working on this project. I don't think Karakawa, I'm sure they're aware of the reception that the Godzilla animated trilogy got. So I'm sure they told him, look, this is what we want. We know you have the talent to do it, but let's not get crazy with these other things. And so we'll see what happens. You know, I think it's right now, it's just too early to be worried. I know a lot of people were just not happy about it, and I get that. Believe me, I am not a fan of the trilogy for the Godzilla animated movies, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm gonna keep it even kill now. I'll reserve my judgment for when it comes out. And the only thing you can hope for is that the guy learns from his mistakes. And even if he doesn't, you have to hope that the format that they're trying to go with this show will kind of be a failsafe against what he might do to potentially screw it up with bad storytelling and bad direction. And then we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, I wouldn't worry so much about it right now. It's too early, and I really do think the format is going to protect against what he might do to screw it up. So, but we'll see. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait till the show comes out to really kind of get the final nail in the coffin as to whether or not it's something that was worth worrying about versus not worrying about it at all. So, but that's it. That's all I want to say. And we'll obviously keep our ears peeled for Gamera, which I'm sure will be coming out later this year. I feel confident that it will be, but we'll see. And yeah, there's a lot of other things to kind of discuss that kind of happened earlier in the week, but we might have to reserve that for the stream tomorrow night. I do have a couple more videos, but I'm not gonna be able to talk about everything that I missed this week, obviously, because of you know, work and how things turned out this week. So I'm doing videos later, but I'll put out as much as I can until tomorrow night, and then I will see you guys then. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.